Just getting started with the big Q&A show. Ba-ba-bee, boo. Just getting started. And that's coming through. Turning the sound down. Copying the link on the video. And going to put it on Facebook so the people can watch. Hey, JC, how you doing? All right. All right. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes, just kind of getting everything set up. And like I said, I'm getting this put on Facebook right now. And 5x5. I don't know what 5x5 means. I guess that's good. I guess that's good. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and put us on the old Twitster. All right, so let's see what we've got here. All right. Okay. Military term meaning loud and clear. You'd think I should know that, but I did not. Thank you, JC. Appreciate it. Paul. All right. We got Paul and JC here. And hopefully we'll have some few more joining us shortly. Yeah, it's a pretty cool museum, isn't it? When did they open it? Was it? I didn't think it was around in 2000. I thought it opened later than that. Did it? It might have. I don't remember. I know Stephen Ambrose. That was his big baby. Yeah, I do love the old World War II museum though. I went there for the first time about 2 years ago. It was in December 2009, just before the pandemic, and went down there with a buddy of mine. Never been to New Orleans before. We met down there, and we had a blast. We had a really good time. That was a fun time. All right, just give it another couple of minutes, and we will. Well, I don't care. You can start if you want to ask me questions now. It's good. Otherwise, I'll just blabber on about stuff. Just again, let everybody know. Typically, Tuesday nights at 7. Tuesday nights at 7, I like to do a live playthrough usually, but I decided tonight. I said maybe once in a while I'll do maybe once a month or something. I'll just do a Q&A because these are really fun for me, and hopefully other people find them amusing as well. Wait, 2019, I confused museums. What museum were you thinking of? This is the one in New Orleans, or as I call it, New Orleans. But anyway, so I do like to do these old Q&As every so often. Best game you played in 2021 that had the lightest weight. Golly. Best game I played in 2021 that had the lightest weight. Ooh, that's a good question. God, now I gotta look at everything. You know what? I gotta consult the old let me see what I reviewed. Tetrarchia, which I just did the live playthrough of last week. That's got a super cool, super lightweight, and that was a lot of fun. So I really like Tetrarchia. Scope Stalingrad was fun. I like Tetrarchia better than Scope Stalingrad. Grease Lightning was fun, but I didn't like it nearly as much as Tetrarchia. Yeah, I'd probably say Tetrarchia was probably the lightest game I played last year that I really enjoyed, that I really thought was super strategic. Thank you, Andrew. I love your comment. Um, let's see. I'm so sad you no longer own Churchill. Yeah, so I moved a couple of times, and those last few years, I was in Texas. I moved back to Utah. I moved here, and it's just such a pain in the butt. I love my games, but I mean, it's a chore, and I just had to realistically look at some and say, what am I not going to play again anytime soon? And have I got friends that might like these, that if I still want to play it, I can hang out with my friends and play it? And those were a couple that just didn't make the cut. And I'm kind of, Churchill, I like Churchill a lot, but I didn't realistically see it getting back. Triumph and Tragedy, I kind of regret. And I may pick it up again at some point, I don't know. I'll tell you right now, I'm sure somebody will probably ask this tonight, I've got the Conquest and Consequences, which is the kind of the Pacific version of Triumph and Tragedy. I haven't played it yet. I'm hoping to play it soon. I will review that as soon as I get it done. But Fredericksburg Naval Museum is one. Oh, yeah, I've never haven't been there. When I was in Washington D.C., I wanted to get down to Fredericksburg just to see the battlefield there, but I didn't make it. I ended up going to Sharpsburg, and then of course I went to Gettysburg, but I didn't make it to Fredericksburg. So, will the old hat ever return? So mustache, I don't know. I decided to start growing a beard in. I went out of town for a couple of days in October. I came back and I just had some scruff, and I'll let it grow a little bit. And I actually grew a full beard for a while, and then I just shaved the sides. And then the mustache just kind of got so long. I'd never been able to do this. My good friend Stan, he had done this sort of thing for years, and I just thought, I'll try it. And I kind of like it. I don't know how long I'll keep doing it for. The hat. This was a Christmas gift from Zach. This is what Zach gave me for Christmas. And I really like it. Fits well. I had a fedora before. It didn't fit as well, but this one fits really well. I'm like wearing this all the freaking time now. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe sometime we'll get back to the old hat. Did you prefer the old hat? We'll see what happens there. Sounds awesome. Yeah. About games said Conquest Consequences was his personal fave of the year. Wow. That's cool. I mean, it's got the potential to be. I think, Triumph and Tragedy, like I say, that was a great game, and I think this one, I'm sure it will be too. It's just a question of how great and what have you. I kind of wished I'd had an opportunity to play Triumph and Tragedy again recently, just so I could compare it, because it's been years since I played Triumph and Tragedy. And again, part of it too is like if I'm going to play a big World War II game, I want to play War Room. That's, to me, that scratches the itch. And the only thing that Triumph and Tragedy has that War Room doesn't, in my opinion, that I really missed was the diplomatic stuff that you play before the war. I thought that was really cool. I remember when that game came out. I was really looking forward to that and Churchill when they came out. Those are like two of the first GMT games that I was like really anticipating. But yeah, I think that one's going to be a good one. Awesome channel, Cody. Thank you, Vital Signs. Really enjoyed your World War II game reviews. Thank you. I love reviewing. I love playing World War II games. They're fun to talk about. I just put up my kind of revised top 10. I'm thinking I may just put up like another video, 10 more great World War II games, not necessarily a 20 to 11, but just more great World War II games, because I think there's so much you can say and there's so much you can do with them. So I may do that at some point. When are you going to play Paths of Glory? When it comes back in print? I want to. Stack of SPI war games, most unpunched. How about I send you a list? You pick out a couple you would like to play and do a review on, and I'll send them to you. No cost. Well, I appreciate that. That's very generous. And ordinarily, I might take you up on that. But I'm having trouble finding people to play with here in Wyoming. I've got a few people I can play with once in a while, but there's like 23,000 people in this town, and then nothing for 100 miles. Really, it's Wyoming, our least populous state. Populous state. So try me again. Maybe if I find some people. I got War Room right before the pandemic, and my wife still won't let it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's such a good game. I hope you get to play it soon. I really do. That's such a good game. Uh, purchase War Room based on your comment, so I guess I still have the War Game bug. Excellent. Well, it's a great game. Isn't Path of Glory the most reprinted War Game ever? I don't know. I think like Axis and Allies would be. I mean, I would think, but I don't know. It might be, but I don't. When was the last time it's been reprinted? It's not in print right now, I don't think. It seems like, because I've reached out to GMT and I've asked them, hey, do you have a review copy of Paths of Glory, like several times, and they always say it's not in print. It's not in print. So I don't know if I just miss it or. But I remember when I very first started doing my written reviews for the Deseret News years ago. When I reached out and they sent me Space Empires 4X, I remember I asked about Paths of Glory, and they said, oh, it's not in print. And I thought they said it'd be back in print, so maybe I just missed it, because that was 10 years ago. So I'm sure it's been in print since then. Do you or have you played War Game Minis? So years ago, they did an Axis and Allies miniatures game. I don't even know if it's still around. I played a little of that, and I liked it, and I didn't love it. And then I played, of course, I played the Star Wars minis games, if that counts. I think Armada is like actually a pretty good naval game. I liked X-Wing, but I thought Armada was much better. And then I've got a copy of one of the sets of Flames of War over here. And they sent that to me, and I had to have a friend put it together because I have no patience or aptitude for that. And I want to play it, and sometime, hopefully, I will be able to. Why did you move from Utah to Wyoming? Because I got a job. I'm teaching at the college here, so I, need to eat. So when I moved back to Utah, so I was living in Utah, and I was living with my mom because she kind of had some health issues, and I was taking care of her. And I got to the point where I couldn't take care of her anymore. So she moved to Denver with my sister, and that's when I moved to Texas. Right, I had nothing keeping me here, and I moved back to Utah from Texas because they said I could get some adjunct work there. And in Texas, normally that wouldn't have been a problem, but with the pandemic, everybody was cutting back on classes. But Utah, Salt Lake Community College was still offering some, so I moved back to Utah. But I was staying with a buddy of mine, and he was really super cool about it. One of the best guys in the world. I love the guy to death. But I think I was kind of inconveniencing him a little bit. And I just needed to get a job, and I thought, you know what? And I was sending out applications after applications, and with the pandemic, it sucked. So I had a few interviews, but this is the first one that panned out. So I'm like, I'm moving to Wyoming, And I'm very, very grateful to have a job. It's actually a cool job. I really like my job quite a bit. I just wish there were more people to game with here. I still have tons of AA minis. Yeah, I mean, they're, it was a fun game. I don't know. It didn't click with me. Oh, I played a little bit of Warhammer too. I never collected Warhammer, but I had a buddy that did, and we played a little Warhammer, and that was a long time ago. And I liked it. I didn't love it. Have you played the Fast Rules of War Room yet? No, I haven't actually. It's probably been over a year since no, maybe not quite a year. It's been a long time since I played War Room. I think it was probably maybe February or March of last year was the last time I played War Room. It's a tough game to get people together for, so no, I haven't played the Fast Rules. Oh, wait a second. By Fast Rules, do you mean the you just play to 6 turns and like who's ever... Okay, if that's what you mean by Fast Rules, I have played that. And I liked it. Gameathon for the win. Hope all is well and Cody. Remember, Nick is always Secret Hitler. Is that you, Nick? The Crafty Joe? Gosh, you guys have got Gameathon coming up again this month. I'm so jealous. I wish I was in Texas. My buddy Chris in Texas, right after I moved down there, I met this guy named Chris, who's one of the coolest guys ever. and he's got a nice house. And what he would do is like twice a year, usually in January and August, he would have Game-a-thon, where he'd have about 30 or 40 people from all over Texas. We'd have about 3 or 4 tables going at a time, and everybody's playing games for like 3 or 4 days straight. It was a blast, and I loved it because we'd always play it. When I was in school, and so it was like right before school started in January, right before it started in late August. I just would have this awesome time where I was just playing these games with my buddies. Just completely great end of the break, great way to blow off steam, and to look forward to or at least to a good way to kick off the school year is, I guess, what I'm saying here. But anyway, they're doing one this month, and I really wish I could be there, but I can't. But I'm hoping, if I can, I'll try to work out in August. So that goes. Oh, Crafty Joe. Oh, I got you. Game-a-thon for the win. Gosh, I miss Game-a-thon. I miss Game-a-thon so much. That was so much fun. Which solitary World War II or any war game would you recommend for a total noob to these games? Oh, that's good. So I've got a review coming out in a few weeks for Tarawa 1943. Spoiler alert, I'll tell you right now, I loved it. Had a lot of fun with Tarawa 1943. It's a tough game. Tough game to win, easy game to learn, easy game to play. Very tough game. But you might want to check out Tarawa 1943 from Worthington. I just reviewed, if you didn't see it, I reviewed the Bismarck Solitaire, which is extremely light, but it's amazing how much fun it is for being as light as it is. And then they got the Bismarck or the Waterloo Solitaire, which looks really cool too. So you might want to check those out. Of course, there's Worthington's like reprinting a lot of the States and Siege games. Oh, you know what's a really good one too from Worthington is it's good 2-player and it's great solo. Is Freeman's Farm 1777. You check that. If you're looking for like a fun and easy game to get into it, that game is freaking awesome. Freeman's Farm 1777. Derek, no new quick battle system. I haven't played a new battle system. For War Room? No, I haven't played it. What topic in history are you still wanting for it to be done right as a board game? Oh, done right? I don't know. Well, actually, you know what I do? I want to see. I've got a quest to find what I think would be the perfect Napoleonic Wars board game. And I think this is such a hard thing to do because in the Napoleonic Wars, because I'm looking for one like an epic game. Now, I haven't played Empires of Arms from Avalon Hill. I've heard that one's great. Or GMT, I think it was Avalon Hill. GMT does it. I've heard that one's great. I haven't played it. But I played a lot of Napoleonic games, particularly over the last year or so. I played a lot of good Napoleonic games, but none of them, I think, as a war game, really does it justice. I know Coalitions by Compass probably came the closest, but even so, I wasn't wild about it. Coalition by Phalanx, which is coming out, is a great game that has Napoleon. It's about the Napoleonic Wars, but to me, it felt like it's got shades of war game and shades of Euro game, and it's very well. I love that game. I think that's a great game. When that game comes out, you want to pick it up. I loved it, but I don't know. But it's still not that grand, epic Napoleonic game that I want. And there's some good ones out there, but I'm still searching for that all great Napoleonic war game. Let's see. You mentioned you played Here I Stand, but it didn't make your top 10. Have you played Virgin Queen? I did not play Virgin Queen. I played Here I Stand. I haven't played Virgin Queen. I played Here I Stand. And here's the thing. When I played Here I Stand for the first time, it was like one of those games that it was a little overwhelming. I had some friends that were a little more into it than I was just because I'm like, okay. It was just such a big game. And then I played it again, and I kind of got into the groove of it. And I think I only played it a couple of times. But I liked it, and it was fun. And maybe if I played it again today, I'd like it a lot better. But no, it didn't make my top 10. Good game, but didn't make my top 10. Thoughts on the Folded Gap? Haven't played it. You know, I've only played, I think, 4 or 5 games from Compass Games. They won't send me stuff, which is fine. I totally respect their business model, and I'm not complaining. But I bought the game. The games of theirs that I reviewed, I bought, except for one, which the designer sent me. And I really have liked them, particularly Attrition of Souls. That's my favorite of the Compass games I played. I haven't played Fold a Gap, though. I'd be interested to play it. Do you like it? Napoleonic Wars second edition from GMT. It's out of print, but a third is in the works. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, because Empires in Arms was Avalon Hill, and this is the Napoleonic Wars. That's definitely one when it comes out I want to check out, and I hope I'll be able to find a way and a time to get it to the table. I hope my voice doesn't go out here. I've got a lecture tomorrow. Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman, a scholar. Going to look it up now. Excellent. Happy to help you out there, Wolf, or as I call you, Wolf. Napoleon's Imperium Compass. Yeah, Napoleon's Imperium was good. That's the one the designer sent me. Super nice guy, and it's a fun game, and I liked it. It's essentially, it feels like Axis and Allies in Europe in Napoleonic Wars. Now, the problem I had with that game though is it kind of just has two factions. I think it was like France and Spain and the Ottoman Empire and Austria on one side, Southern Europe, and then it had on the other side like England, Prussia, Russia, and the Nordic countries. And so like there wasn't the diplomatic back and forth. And I think he said they're working on an expansion or some variation that allows for that. But that's really the fundamental problem is how do you, in a Napoleonic War game, how do you make it so that Prussia and Austria, that these countries and others are not just adjuncts of Britain and France and proxies? How do you make Prussia win that game if they don't have military conquest, And I mean, they don't have the military conquest to the extent that France or Britain does, right? And I think one of the answers, and this is what Coalition by Phalanx game gets right, is they each have their own objectives, and it's a matter of them meeting their own objectives and gaining points. And I think if you could do that on on kind of a bigger, more war game-esque scale, that's kind of what I'd be interested in. That's kind of what I would want there. Your channel was one of the first channels I watched when I first got into the hobby. It was for Legendary Alien Encounters. I always enjoy your opening jokes. Thank you. I love Legendary Alien Encounters. That's still, I played it again. I did a live stream a few weeks ago. Still one of my favorite games. Really like that one. Top 20 at least. I did some Googling. It appears Paths of Glory has been reprinted 5 times, selling out quick each time. Doesn't surprise me. I've got to be Johnny on the spot next time they reprint it because I really want to play that one. Finding someone to play Folda with the attention span is a large. Yeah, I'm sure it is. How long does Folda play? I'll tell you right now. When I'm looking at any game, and a war game in particular, I'll tell you right now, and this is probably going to drive some war gamers nuts, but one of the first things I look at of whether I want to play it is the time. How long does it take to play? Now, there are some really long games that I'll play that I like. War Room, excellent. Twilight Imperium, excellent. And I'm sure a lot of these other games are excellent. But generally, I don't want to get a game and play a game that's going to take 6+ hours, I think for most of the games I want to play, 4 hours is my upper limit, 3 to 4 hours is my upper limit. And I think, too, a lot of that just has to do with, my time. And as you get older, of course, you have other time commitments, even for us single guys. But you just have time commitments. And so it's not as easy to play those big, epic, long games like you could when you were younger. You have all those, like, overnight Axis and Allies diplomacy sessions. You just kind of can't do that when you're older. And you can't find other people that can do that, who are your same age. So if a game's really long, unless it looks like something really special, like War Room looked super special, and it was, I tend to get a little gun shy around those games. Where is Frederick in your favorite games now, and what would it be up there as a multiplayer 3+ war game? Frederick's still pretty high. It's still probably top 10, if not top 10, then nearly in the top 10. I love Frederick. I think Frederick's a fantastic game. It's kind of, I'm actually lecturing tomorrow on Frederick the Great, so that's an interesting question. But Frederick, I think, is a fantastic Phenomenal game. I love it. And what was the rest of your question there? What would be up there as a multiplayer 3+ war game? Well, Frederick, and I haven't played Maria yet. Got it. I still haven't played Maria yet. That's what I'm looking for. But that's the 3-player. Um, multiplayer war games. I'm looking here at what I got and what I think. Space Empires 4X is fun, but I think it's better as a 2-player. But I played it with 3 and 4 players. Um, Gosh, I don't know. I haven't played any of the coin series, and I keep thinking I got to do that. One of these days, I got to break down and just get a coin game and take my chances. Hi from New Zealand. New Zealand. Better than old Zealand, am I right? Hey, Cody, former CP employee. A GMT video was great, and now I want to play them all. Fantastic. CP. I don't know what CP is. I worked at the Clark Planetarium. Is that what that is? What are your thoughts about PBEM? I played a lot of Axe, War Horse, and Vassal. PBE, I don't know what PBEM is. If you can elaborate on that, that would be helpful. Good evening, Dr. Cody. Thank you, David K. I appreciate that. Adam said something, but his message was retracted, so I won't bother to answer. Any games you played this year that you thought would be bad but surprised you big time? Oh, gosh. Ugh. Yes. But what? Games I thought would be bad but surprised me. I didn't have high hopes for Scope Stalingrad, but for what it is, I had fun with it. Red Rising, I wasn't expecting much of, and I really enjoyed Red Rising. What else did I think would be bad that... so some of these I didn't have high hopes for. I wouldn't necessarily say I thought they were going to be bad. I didn't play too many bad games per se. Wingspan. I played Wingspan for the first time last year. And I actually was not super excited about Wingspan. I just thought, people went on and on about it, but I just thought, it did not look interesting at all. Stonemayer contacted me. They said, we got a copy. Do you want it? I'm like, yeah, okay. Just because that's the way I roll, baby. And I played it, and I actually really liked it. So that may have been my most pleasant surprise as far as expectation to what came out. And also, too, maybe my biggest, though, was Company of Heroes. Because Company of Heroes looked beautiful, and I'm just so jaded. I think if a game looks beautiful, it's not going to play great. And that was a game that looked beautiful and played great as well. Any tips on understanding rules to games? No, just read them. I'm not somebody who instinctively learns just by reading rule books. I'm not, but I've trained myself to do that and to be better at it because I have to. If I want to play these games in the volume that I do. So I don't know. I guess watch videos or yeah, I don't know, or find somebody that's good at explaining stuff to you. Frederick or Friedrich? I call him Friedrich. Crafty Joe. Dr. Cody, have you played the Quartermaster General board game? If so, what are your opinions? I have not. That's another one I keep thinking I want to play. Years ago, I think it was when the first Quartermaster came out, I'd requested a review copy, and the company, I think it's a different company now that publishes it, but the company originally had some unrealistic expectations about it, about when it was going to be up, and they said, under no circumstances can you keep the game. You have to give it to charity or give it to another reviewer. And it's like, well, if I like it, I want to keep it. Plain and simple. And I didn't understand their attitude. But really, the deal breaker was they wanted a review up in like 2 weeks. And I just like, I can't guarantee that. Very rarely do I get a game and have a review up in 2 weeks. Sometimes, but not often. Yeah, what about Lock and Load Heroes of Motherland? I haven't played that one. Play by email, play by email, play by email, email. Play by email? No, I haven't. Thank you. I haven't played by. I haven't done anything by electronic mail. I always thought I wanted to do a diplomacy game. I thought because email, I thought that would lend itself so well. I actually tried to run an email diplomacy game a long time ago, and it kind of blew up in my face. People just screwed around. One guy, his orders didn't came in, and he was one of these guys that just takes everything super competitive, almost makes it not fun to play with. And he was mad. I was like, it's not my fault. Turns out he sent it from work, and there was a firewall at work, and it wouldn't let him send it. But I know there's some like websites that let you do diplomacy games. Yeah, maybe I ought to do that for like a class sometime. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Hey Cody, I'm trying to get a board game collection going. I've been going to conventions and finding some cheaper games, but what are some nice cheaper ways of getting board games? Look at the used market, maybe. There's always people selling older games, and you can usually get pretty good deals on them. Make friends with a board game reviewer, because sometimes they give away games to their friends. That's Zach's got like this huge board game collection, and probably, and I'm not kidding, probably 2/3 of it are games I gave him. Let's see. Cody isn't old enough to know what PB. Yeah, that's true. I'm a youngster. I'm a spring chicken. Also, how the F do I find people to play with? That's something I'm wrestling with right now. I always said that. I would always say, get on the internet, because there's always, well, there's a thing on Board Game Geek where you can find people I know, and there's stuff on Facebook. I usually, when I went to Texas, I got on a lot of like local Facebook groups and started trying to find people. But now that I'm here, gosh, like I said, there's only 23,000 people in this town, and then nothing for like 100 miles in the other direction. So it's tough. Hey Cody, Chris here. Great job, brother. What is that? That's not the Chris, is it? My Chris in Texas. Oh man, God bless you, man. I love you. Do you like War of the Ring? So I played War of the Ring once, kinda. We played through a couple of turns, but we didn't have the time to play through a full game, and so we're learning it, and we didn't really finish it, and it was more just kind of a learning experience. I don't really feel like I played the game. I had another buddy of mine, Matthias, in Texas, and he really wanted me to do it, and we were going to do it, and we just never got around to it. But it's one I keep thinking I got to try again. Biggest disappointment in 2021. Oof. Biggest disappointment. Oh, golly. So I'm not a big Doctor Who fan. I've never really watched Doctor Who. I wasn't a huge fan of the board game. I was kind of expecting a little more because I love Gale Force 9, and I think they put out really quality stuff, but that game just didn't thrill me that much. What else was a disappointment? I don't know. A lot of good games. Most of the games I played this year I've really enjoyed. Oh, no. I know what it was. It was Alien Fate of the Nostromo. I was really disappointed in that one. I wanted to like that one so much, and I just felt it was weak as water. It just didn't. It could have been really good, and it wasn't. I was not happy with that one. What are your thoughts on designing your own game? Do you mean me personally, or just someone in general designing their own games? I have been working on a game. It's on hiatus right now. I was actually working for a time with Academy Games, and it kind of didn't work out. And nobody's fault, and I got to tell you, I have nothing but love and respect for Uwe and everybody at Academy Games. I think they're great people, and they helped me out a lot. But we just kind of had some differences on the direction we wanted to go. And so it is what it is. But maybe at some point I'll pick it up. You know what I really need is to get a partner, somebody that's got more time than I do that can work out the kinks. East Front and West Front games are great via, probably. Cody is old enough to have looked in the back of the General magazine for a play. You want to know something? I used to read General magazine back in the day. Not in 1982, but a while ago. White Dog Games, The Mission, Early Christians, and Early Councils. Haven't played that one. Is it good, White Dog Games? Longer games would be more approachable if there were a way to save your progress. You know what? That's so true. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. If you had a longer game and there's an easy way to save your progress and save everything on the map, that would I agree. That'd revolutionize wargaming, I think. Craigslist, Goodwill, yeah, good places to get board games. Exactly. Chris, good to see you, man. Do you ever play by forum email? No, I don't. Columbus, Ohio has Game Club. Cody, have you heard of a Kickstarter game that's being made right now called Deep Rock Galactic? I love the game and I'm actually kind of excited about it. No, I have not heard about Deep Rock Galactic. What's it about? Can you make a 10 great World War II games? I just did. I actually have a top 10 World War I games that I put out, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah, so check that out. I live near Uwe. I'm going to be in a D&D group with him soon. Oh, cool. Yeah, Uwe's great. Uwe's an awesome guy. He's, you know why I love that? You know what I love about him is he's got such great energy. You know, he's just positive and he's excited and he's just, some people are just fun people to be around, and Uwe's just a fun person to be around. And he always treated me like gold. Just was always very good to me. Really like Uwe a lot. My wife and kids are not into board games at all. Hence, I'm a solo gamer. How often do you play solo, if ever? If so, what is your favorite board game to play solo? So I was never much of a solo board gamer, and then I moved up here, and I've become a much bigger solo board gamer. As I say, the last few weeks, I've been solo board gaming. On Tuesday nights at 7, I usually do play a game and stream it. Tonight, I just wanted to do a Q&A. But there's some great games. I mentioned Taro in 1943, which I played earlier. Bismarck Solitaire, which came out. It's actually a non-war games. I really liked Dune Imperium is a fun game to play solo. It's fun at any player count, but I've been playing that a lot solo. I really like that one. Tetrarchy is fun to play solo. Maquis is fun to play solo. Freeman's Farm 1777, which I mentioned earlier. Great solo game. The States of Siege games from Worthington, Soviet Dawn, which just came out, Keep Up the Fire, which just came out, are both really good. Golly. Shores of Tripoli. I haven't played Shores of Tripoli solo. I love it as a 2-player, but I haven't played it solo. Zombicide. I love playing Zombicide solo. I was just playing that again the other night. I love Zombicide solo. Played Company of Heroes a couple times solo. Want to play it some more. But yeah, there's a ton. I'm waiting on the reinforcements pack for Undaunted Normandy because I really want to play that one solo. I think that'll be super fun. Ask Sandy Peterson. He's a good guy too. I like Sandy. Hello, BSG and Unfathomable side by side. What are your thoughts on updated rules versus theme and IP? Well, that's just it. I love Battlestar Galactica's theme. I love the IP for Battlestar Galactica, but I really like some of the upgrades with the rules on Unfathomable. I think the rules on Unfathomable really rock. They're really a lot of fun. So, I'll probably for the time being I'll hang on to both. May at one point have to make a Sophie's choice, so to speak. Are you backing Purple Haze? No. In fact, I very, very rarely do Kickstarters these days. I've done so in the past. I very rarely do a Kickstarter. The last Kickstarter I did, I think, was probably Batman Gotham City. What is it? The Gotham City one? Although I just, about a week ago, backed another game on Kickstarter. And I'm not going to say which. But if you know me, you probably know what it was. I got Star Trek Ascendancy. Wish me luck to introduce it to 2 skeptical gaming friends. Dude, yeah, that's a great game. I love it. Best of luck to you. I hope that works out for you because it's a fun game. And the expansions are fun too. A few years ago, I was walking my dog across a vacant lot, and there were a bunch of trash and books and magazines dumped there. Among the items was Wargame Reds by Ted Racer. Oh, cool. I'm not familiar with that game, but hey, free board game, right? Are you going to any conventions this year? I've got no plans to. I thought if I could make it work, I might try to go to SaltCon in Layton, Utah. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to make it work or not. Pax Samir, never tried it. No, I have not. Ever played Diplomacy? Yes. That's like all I played for like 2 or 3 years, 20 years ago. Diplomacy and Axis and Allies. Love Diplomacy. Super fun game. Haven't played it in a long, long time. I've got it and Colonial Diplomacy over here on the bottom of the shelf. Fun games, but I haven't played them in years. I don't know when I'll play them again because, again, just they're so long. They're so long. Any plans to review 300, Earth and Water, or War Without Enemy, both from Nuts Publishing? Nope, never even heard of them. Are they good? Cody, good to see your live stream. Thank you for your reviews, and I love your other channel, Cody Carlson PhD. Thank you. Which reminds me, if you have not done so yet, please take the time, go to Cody Carlson PhD and subscribe to that channel. That's a channel where I'm a little more serious. I talk about, I do a lot of book reviews on military and historical topics, and I occasionally will make a video about some aspect of history, usually World War II or some other aspect of military history. But please, please do me a favor. That's Cody Carlson, PhD. Please go there and subscribe. Maybe when this is done, I'll add a link in the description. But thank you very much, Sean. I heard Friday is a good game, a good solo game. I don't know what Friday is. Deep Rock Galactic is a 4-player co-op board game about shooting a crap ton of bugs, mining and escaping. Tons of Starship Trooper reference. Okay, well, I'll look into that one. Thank you, Mr. Pod, for bringing that to my attention. This War Without an Enemy is my favorite Columbia-style block game. Is that the one? It's the like English Civil War, like it's Cromwell, I think. That one looked good. I might have to check that one out at some point. It'd be great for you to go over your collection with us and how you organize it. Yeah, you know, I've thought about doing, like, I remember, I don't know if Tom Vazel still does it, but back in the day he used to do Tom's Game Shelf, and he'd go row by row of his shelves and talk about everything. And I keep thinking about that, but my problem is it keeps evolving and it keeps changing. You know, I keep getting more games, and it's like I'm shifting this, I'm getting rid of this, and I just don't know when a good time to do it would be. But maybe that's something I really need to look into. Dr. Cody, I broke out my old copy of Advanced Squad Leader. Do you have any tips on how to keep track of what units have moved, fired, when there are oodles of counters on the board, and there is reaction fire, etc.? No, because I've never played Advanced Squad Leader. That's one, you know, and I've said this before, there's kind of a threshold for me. I don't play heavy war games. And power and love to people that do. I think, you know, God bless you. To me, there's kind of an upper limit of complexity and investment, intellectual investment into a game. And so I like light war games, and increasingly I like medium level war games. But when you get to the real heavier stuff, at about the level of Advanced Squad Leader, you kind of lose me. I'm just not interested. But best of luck to you. Love Samurai CNC game. Absolutely loathed all the stickers. Yes, I agree, man. I love the CNC games, and stickering just. I got the Conquest and Consequence. It's unboxed except for the stickering. I'm like, I gotta sticker this thing. I hate stickering with a passion. It's just so tedious. Don't know if this has already been said, but have you seen Rome Total War on GameFound? Thoughts? I've seen it. Yeah, I think PSC is doing that. I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, I love the video game, so hopefully that works out. Hopefully it's going to be hopefully it'll be a very cool game. Back to old school tactics yesterday. Yeah, I remember seeing something about that. That looks like a fun game. Off the topic of games, but any recommendations on good World War I book? Been reading The Guns of August and would love to read more about it. Yo, gosh, yeah. The German High Command at War, Hindenburg and Ludendorff Conduct World War I by David Asprey. I really liked. John Keegan's The First World War was good. Martin Gilbert's The First World War was really good. Jeffrey Warrow, he was my doctoral advisor, and he wrote Sons of Freedom, which is about the American Army in World War I, which was fantastic. And he wrote A Mad Catastrophe, which was about the Austro-Hungarian Army in World War I, Empire in World War I. That one was, again, phenomenal. They're both great books. And Verdun by Alistair Horn. Gosh, great book. Great book. Yeah, a lot of good World War I books out there. I actually could probably do a whole video just talking about World War I books, but we're not going to do that now. Old Gamer here. What comments on SPI Falls in the Hierarchy? You know what? I don't know that I've ever played an SPI game. I'm ashamed to say it. I haven't played a lot of the old school games. You know, sorry. So how far is this mustache? Further than you think. Going to go. Oh, okay. All right. You know, I don't know. I have no idea. It's just fun for right now. Pain in the butt to wax this every morning, but we'll see what happens. Any comments on SPW series in World War I? No, I'm not sure what that is. It seemed you really enjoyed Frederick. Have you tried Maria? No, I actually mentioned this earlier tonight. No, still got Maria, still raring to go. Still have not played it. Hopefully someday. What is your opinion about board games that require a companion app? Love them. I think it's great. I know some people just hate it, but when I play Dune Imperium solo, I use the app, and it does have cards that you can use cards, but I prefer the app. It's so much easier. It's so much cleaner and nicer. I love that. One of my favorite games is Mansions of Madness Second Edition, and that's completely app driven. You couldn't play the game without the app, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. I have absolutely no problem. And I'll tell you something right now. I was super skeptical. I was one of the guys right off the bat that was like, "This is not a good idea." And there is some risk. I had some of the stuff from Gollum Arcana, which I really liked, which was one of the first app integrated games, and it didn't work out. And I don't think you can even download the app anymore. So if you got all that stuff, you can't play the game. So there is a risk there. But I love them. I have fun with them. Stickering is my zen. It's all that gets me through my wife's Hallmark movies. I think if that were the case with me, that would work too. I mentioned Sandy Peterson because you were talking about needing a partner for the game you were trying to design. Oh yeah, Sandy's great. That's something to look into. He usually does those weird, dark, evil games though. He's LDS and so am I, and so it's kind of funny that he's so dark. I actually talked to him once about that, and he was really cool. He said, if you ever read the Book of Mormon, it's actually a pretty dark book. And I'm like, it kind of is. Great book though. I won't talk about religion. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, Sandy's a great guy. So maybe that's a possibility there. Have you ever get a board game, look at the reviews, then instantly kind of regret it because it doesn't have a lot of high praises? I got First Martian sitting here, and I usually, a lot of the games I get before the reviews come out. They'll send them to me before people are posting reviews. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And so I'm usually one of the first people to play the game. So no, I can't really say that happens to me. I'm sure it's happened to me in the past, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. It doesn't happen often to me. I'm currently reading The Western Front, A History of the Great War, 1914-1918 by Nick Lloyd. My local library as a Kindle copy. Okay. Yeah, I've not read that one. I know Nick Lloyd's good. No, I'm thinking of Lloyd Clark. But is that good? That looks good. Yeah, really good so far. So, answer my question. Thank you, Cody. Love the channel. Thank you. Bless the Alfredo. Very kind of you. Do you ever look at all your games and think, what have I done? Yes, every day. I am not kidding. I think this is what... this is how I spend my free time. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. And, I got to tell you, hell is a room full of board games and no one to play it with. Let's see. What game give you the biggest holy S moment? Maybe Battlestar Galactica. I mean, that was the first game I ever played where I'm like, this is what a board game can do. I didn't know board games could do this. So maybe. Although I had a pretty big holy S moment with War Room too. I mean, as soon as I got the table, I'm like, this is cool. And it's like, oh, this is so much cooler than I ever thought it would be. So there's a lot of that with War Room. Which gave you the biggest laugh for 10 minutes? Moment. Which game? Again, I might say it's the Battlestar Galactica. We had some really good laughs over. That's a game you're freaking laughing the whole time. Secret Hitler. There's a lot of great moments like that in Secret Hitler where you just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. Gosh, those are probably. I mean, it's those hidden traitor games, right? Because people are screwing with you. I mean, they're psychological games, right? So you laugh at the hidden traitor games. I mean, I laugh at a lot of games with that. Although I've had some good ones of Fury of Dracula, where you're outguessing where Dracula is, and I've had some good moments like that there, where we laugh quite a bit. Mark Adkins did a book on World War I and Waterloo. Excellent. Not familiar with that. I'll look into them. CNC Napoleonics expansions? Nope, not yet. Maybe one day. Haven't played any of the expansions yet. Hey, just got here. Also new to your history channel and just wanted to say that I like it. Thank you so much, Alt. I really appreciate that. Again, that's Cody Carlson, PhD. Please go there on YouTube and subscribe. Never do the mental exercise of looking at your games and totaling up the money you've spent on them. It's frightening. That's true. But I have the advantage of knowing that probably the majority, maybe the vast majority of games that I own were review copies. One of the advantages of being a reviewer. Although if I'd spent the time on filming and editing the reviews, if I'd spent that actually working, I probably could have bought 2 or 3 times as many games. So it's a trade-off. I missed it. Where are you living now? I'm in Wyoming now. I am in tropical Rock Springs, Wyoming. I don't know what it's like where you are right now, but in Wyoming, it is cold. It is colder than you can possibly imagine. You remember in Rocky 4 when he goes to Russia and he trains in Russia? Yeah, he wasn't training in Russia. They filmed that in Wyoming. I'm just saying. Have you ever thought about designing a game, Cody? Yeah, I actually just talked about this a little earlier in the evening. Yeah, I've kind of been on and off working on a game for nearly 10 years now, and maybe, like I said, I think I probably need to get a partner, get somebody to work with that can kind of take it and run with it. I actually think every day about designing board games. So I've made a few prototypes, and then they don't work, and I think, oh, I'm going to revise it, and I just never get around to revising it. It takes, I think designing a board game, it's like any artistic endeavor. It really takes dedication. And there's just other things that are more important to me right now. We played Secret Hitler with my youth group at church, and they had a riot. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's such a fun game. And it's such a dark theme. It's such a dark subject, but it's so much fun. I was sworn to secrecy, but I'm going to tell you guys. I had a professor when I was working on my PhD, and I had to do a presentation in class. And it was each week we're looking at different periods in American history. And my week was World War II, and a bunch of people were missing from the class that day because there was a conference somewhere. So we had kind of a smaller crew, and I said, well, hey, I'll do this presentation, and then let's play Secret Hitler. And we did. And we played a couple games of Secret Hitler, and it was super fun. And it was kind of naughty because we should have been working. Do you ever play board games online? No. I've got Tabletop Simulator. I've looked into it. It's one of those things I think maybe I should do it, but I just kind of can't pull the trigger on it. I don't know what it is. Not excited. Oh man, one of my favorite social games is Don't Mess with Cthulhu. I really wish I owned it and the expansion. I'm not familiar with that one. Who published that one, Mr. Pod? I just came across an old box set of World War II books by Winston Churchill that belonged to my father-in-law. As an epic historian, would you recommend these books? Are they his memoirs of World War II? Because for me, they're essential. They're absolutely essential. It's got the 6 books. Gathering Storm through Hinge of Fate was the last one? Yeah. No. Closing the Ring. I can't remember which the Triumph and Tragedy. I can't remember. Anyway, those books are essential. Yeah. Actually, when I was like 19, I read the abridged version, and I really loved it. But as a historian, I got to have all 6. I actually found, I was in the Army Heritage Education Center in Pennsylvania, Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and they had 5 of them. I go, well, I'll just buy the 5, and then, like, by chance, I was at a local bookstore near my apartment in Texas, and found the 6th one, same edition. I was like, oh, great, so worked out for me. Have you ever played Diplomacy? Yes, we talked about that earlier tonight, so go back and watch that. I've already covered Diplomacy, but thank you for asking. The magazine Battles is really great, reviewing games. It only comes out once a year. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to check it out. We drive through Rock Springs between Denver and Salt Lake every few months. It is bitter cold with the wind. Yes, it's the wind that kills you here. It is the wind that kills you here. Absolutely. Worst drive ever, I-80, winter. Got stuck in Rock Springs and broken windshields galore in Wyoming due to gravel versus salt on roads. Yeah, it's miserable. I drove down to Salt Lake here a few weeks ago, and it was the day after a snowstorm, and I guess they don't plow roads here that well, and it was scary going through the mountains. And it was the day after a snowstorm, but it still hadn't melted. It was kind of touch and go there. As soon as I got across the state line into Utah, smooth sailing. Worst drive ever. Yeah, let's see. Have you ever looked at Black Orange Swan? Yeah, I have actually looked at those, but haven't picked them up, haven't played them, but I think they look cool. Those are the Churchill books. I will crack them open then. Very good. Hi, Cody. Enjoy your channel lots. Have you played GMT's Unconditional Surrender? Thoughts? I haven't played Unconditional Surrender. I haven't played Unconditional. Oh, just one thing though about those Churchill's memoirs there, Nerdfather. You got to take them with a grain of salt. I mean, like anybody's memoirs, they're very self-serving. You got to take them with a grain of salt. A lot of the assertions he makes. So you may want to go back and read some other books about Churchill during the war to kind of put them in context. But yeah, go ahead and read them. I think you'll enjoy them. What is your go-to sci-fi themed game? Well, I mean, my favorite's Twilight Imperium, right? But I love Eclipse. I love Space Empires 4X. IP. I love Battlestar Galactica. I love Star Wars Rebellion. A lot of good sci-fi games. The game Escape from Colditz has been hilarious every time we played it, especially when a player thinks he's finally escaped but nobody has. You know, I was so disappointed with Escape from Colditz. You know, it was one of those games that it was out like in the 70s, I think, is when it originally came out, and it kind of felt like it never really got updated. It felt like I felt like I was playing a game from the 70s, and it felt like it was all about luck, and you didn't have enough. There weren't enough ways to mitigate luck in that game. So I was disappointed with Escape from Colditz. I know a lot of people love it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. That translates to new board game party. That's the only game I knew they made. I might check out the other games. Cthulhu. Okay. Well, thanks, Mr. Pod. Yeah, Andrew Roberts. I haven't read his book on Churchill. I haven't read that book. I want to. I actually just here not too long ago finished his Storm of War, which is his general narrative of World War II, and his Masters and Commanders, which I highly recommend. That book blew me away. Masters and Commanders. It's about Franklin Roosevelt, George Marshall, Winston Churchill, and Alan Brooke, and about how those four men, you know, devised and implemented strategy with their staffs and with their guys around them. Brilliant book. Masters and Commanders by Andrew Roberts. Brilliant. First review of Cody I saw was him playing Game of Thrones. Wow. Cody has so much fun playing that game with his friends. I do. You know, that's what it's about, isn't it? I mean, that's what playing games should be about, is the people we play with. I remember when I first started watching the Dice Tower, and they always say that. I don't know if they still say it anymore. I don't watch Dice Tower nearly as much. I don't have the time. But I remember Tom always used to say, you know, it's about games and the people that play them. And honestly, for me, at the end of the day, as much as we love the cardboard, it's more about the people we play with. And that's one of the sad things about being here in Wyoming and not having the people to play with. Some of the best friends I've made in the last 20 years of my life, certainly the last 10 at least, I made them over a table, rolling dice and playing cards. Some wonderful, wonderful relationships that I've made from board gaming. And it seems like such a stupid thing to say, but it's so true. You know, I think if I didn't have this passion for board gaming, how many friends I simply would not have. And not just new friends. I mean, there were so many friends that I had known that my relationships became stronger. My relationships changed for the better. My friend Darren, I was in an improv comedy troupe with his wife, and I was good friends with his wife. And I'd met him once or twice, and I really didn't know him that well. And she kept saying, "Oh, you guys should get together. You guys love each other." I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But then when I decided to play a game, and I thought, well, you know, I bet he'd play, and I invited him, and that was all she wrote. Now we're just, you know, we're great friends. I love the guy to death, and then I got 100 other stories like that, you know. Ever played Tammany Hall? No, I want to. You know, Tammany Hall is a game I always wanted to play, and I keep thinking maybe at some point I will. But thanks, my winter reading list is getting filled up. Well, like I said, Nerdfather, check out my Cody Carlson PhD. A lot of book reviews on there. Check out that channel, and please subscribe. You should host CodyCon, where everyone games and dresses up like distinguished gamers. That's not a bad idea. That'd be fun. CodyCon. CodyCon. What brought you to Wyoming? I got a job. Yeah, I already mentioned that earlier. Are you in Wyoming, Dale? I got a job here at the college, and it was a lot of fun. All right, I think we're just about. It's been about an hour, almost exactly an hour since I started. So I think maybe is a good time to wrap things up. I want to go ahead. Yeah, well, some people like Alien Fate of the Nostromo. It just wasn't for me. And if you like it, great. I don't mean to take anything away from you and your enjoyment of it. I just didn't care for it. Aliens core game with expansion yet? I don't know. Oh, Another Day in the Core. I didn't play the expansion. I played the base game and liked it, didn't love it. Hey, thanks, Dale. Yeah, I am too. I am too. All right, listen, gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us. This has always been a lot of fun. I'll be back next week, so count on next Tuesday at 7 for a playthrough, for a game playthrough, and we will then. I'll probably, as I'm conceptualizing it in my mind, I'm thinking maybe I'll probably do playthroughs three times a week. Pardon me, 3 times a month, and then maybe the fourth week I'll do a Q&A like this. If that's something people think they would like to see. Anyway, thank you for the thank yous. God bless you all, and you take care now.